them, and it's because they end up not doing anything right. And this is the problem: is that you know. The ambulance-chasing terrorists and Islamist groups of the world are looking for an opportunity to say that somebody's anti-Muslim. So all of a sudden, Lowe's and these groups find out what this program's about, and they, from a business perspective, I'm a businessman in my practice, and there's certain things I may want to invest in advertisement and other things I may not. And they looked at the program once they realized what it was and said, we don't want to do that. And if TLC had come to me as an American Muslim and said, Zuhdi, what kind of program do you think we should have? I'd say, anybody that has a heartbeat and brain cells working in America in the last 10 years would realize that the over 300 million Americans, the vast majority of them are very fearful about the threat of Islamist-inspired terrorism, and just knowing that the Muslims next door have tattoos and go to clubs and maybe are questioning wearing the hijab is not going to help allay their fears. That actually what would allay their fears is to see Muslims wanting to have rallies against terrorism, to speak out against the imams, to talk about women's rights as far as how they're pushed down in Sharia-type states and how they would rather have an American system. And that's what's so frustrating about that program.
Now, Zuhdi, thank you, because, that's what I would hope that most American Muslims would want. That's what I, as an American Christian, I want to hear. But there's so much stir about this, and it is polarizing, and it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't on this. But I think the rational approach is, what is TLC's agenda here? Because if you come out and say, and even ask, well, what about the hijab wearing? What about Sharia law? What about radical fundamentalism? Then all of a sudden, oh, you're anti-Muslim. Like, well, no, that's what most Americans are concerned about. What's your agenda? Any idea? Have you talked with anybody over at TLC, Zuhdi?
No, I haven't, and I think TLC has been used by the producers of this program to continue this program of anesthetizing America to the problem and thinking, oh, it's just a crime problem, as the Obama administration says. And actually what happens is exactly what happened to me during my testimony in March on the Homeland Security Committee, where we wanted to talk about radicalization and the problem that exists, but instead the Muslim issue became a ping-pong ball between the left and the right, and now you have on this program the Russell Simmons, Mia Farrows of the world, and Jon Stewart's coming out and saying, oh, this is anti-Muslim, you got to boycott Lowe's now, and all this kind of nonsense, when in fact all they're doing is mirroring American opinion that regardless of what the left tries to say, we still have not addressed the threat. We've had more attacks on our homeland in the last 2 years than ever before. I'd ask people to go to Showtime and watch. There is a program, a drama called Homeland, that actually shows a FBI crew that's trying to get mosques to work with them, and they're having difficulty, and it actually looks at some of the more nuanced areas that really Americans should look at how to fix, but no one's paying attention to that because it doesn't fit the paradigm of left versus right.
Well, and Zuhdi, I got to take a break here, but
the story with this American Muslim show, I guess Lowe's pulled their ads on it. Some people are upset that Lowe's would pull their ads, but this guy from the American Islam Democracy Forum, he says that he doesn't blame Lowe's, because this show doesn't answer the serious issues about Sharia and questions we really do have as Americans. But if we ask them, as Frank said, we're called anti-Muslim just for asking a question.